Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. Today, we have had the first sort of mission preview of 10th edition. I have it here on the laptop so I can see what I'm doing. Apologies for the reflection in my glasses. Maybe if I do this, I'll look more distinguished as I talk, and you won't get the glare. Okay, so it looks like 10th edition is giving us a variation on the old tactical objective / Tempest of War mechanic. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I did a video, I'm going to rephrase, about a month or so ago, where I talked about how 9th edition missions suck. They're all objective based, they're all basic variations on themselves. And I really miss things like capture table quarters, kill point missions, the relic. What would under 9th probably be classed as the crusade missions. I miss those a lot. I think having the same old thing, just with different layouts, is a little bit meh. And it's one of the few things I don't like under 9th. However, under 8th, we had the tactical objectives deck. And this was one of my favourite ways of playing. You basically had a deck of cards, one for each player, which had loads of objectives on them, which could be anything from capture objective 2, because you'd have them all laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It might be hold objective 3 till the start of your next turn. It might be use a psychic power, take down a flyer. And it worked really, really well. It had flaws. Sometimes you would get a game where what the deck gave you was nowhere near as good as what your opponent got from their deck. So there was that. But it felt more organic to me when you're playing. You're basically trying to commit to what your commander is telling you. If he's telling you to go over there and kill that warlord because he's leading the enemy force, you want to demoralize him, then that's what you do. If they tell you to go and capture this objective, even if it's in the middle of an open field, that's what you go and do. It stopped a lot of the armies that went, I'm just going to surge across the table and kill you, because that wasn't what it was about. You could be tabled but still win on points. 9th edition gave us Tempest of War, I think it's called. And this one I absolutely detested. I've played it probably 4 or 5 times, with a guess. And that is basically the same sort of thing, but it's a deck of all the secondary objectives. And I don't know, but I found it really, really dire. I didn't enjoy playing that one. But today, we've got a new version of this in 10th, where you pull out a deployment type, you pull out an overarching mission, you pull out a overarching something that affects the game, and then each of you as an attacker or defender has a deck with some secondary objectives. And there's an option for a gambit, which I'm going to come to. Okay. This isn't personally what I wanted. I wanted us to go back to the old style missions. I sort of talk about capture table quarters, the relic, assassinate, blah, blah. But fair play. I'm just hoping this is one suggestion for missions, and I'm hoping when we get the full 10th edition rules, there will be something more akin to match play. But let's take a look. So all in all, I think this is fairly similar to the old sort of style. And that's not so bad. Secondary, whatever your primary mission is, I think the example here is taken hold. It's basically capture objectives like we've already been doing. Not a problem. Then you've got your secondary. So you've got one here, capture enemy outpost. So you've got to take an objective that's in your opponent's deployment zone. Okay, fine. The defender has one called overwhelming force, which I think they've worded wrongly. As it says, while this secondary mission is active, each time an enemy unit that started the turn within range of an objective marker destroyed, score 3 VPs to a maximum of 5. Yeah, I think that's a misprint somewhere down the line. And this is fine, but I think it's also very, very bland. It's really no different than what we've had previously. They've just taken various giant hand in eye. They've taken various concepts from the Tempest of War, the Tactical Objectives deck, and the 9th edition secondaries, and just tried to make a really fiddly, overly simplified game out of it. And then we get the Gambit. So it says here, if your primary mission is not going as planned, you still have an ace in the hole with a Gambit card. At the end of your third battle round, either or both players can choose a Gambit card chosen in secret from 2 identical decks. And once they reveal it, the original mission objective goes out the window, and this is your primary. But it's risky. Okay, so... and again, they showcase 2 cards here. There's a proceed as planned, which is basically tough. You're doing what the original mission was. The other one is an orbital strike coordinates. So basically, if you... Right, at the end of your 5th turn, if one or more units from your army that are not battle shocked are wholly within 9 inches of a corner of the battlefield, and these units are not within your own deployment zone, roll 2d6, add 1 to the result for every other corner of the battlefield that has 1 or more units. If the result is 12 or more, the Gambit's completed and you score 30 VP. Okay. That kind of reminds me of the Tau targeting relay secondary. Okay. I get it. It's kind of going, you're not going to win by the primary, so try and win by this one. But it's going to be harder to do, because by the time you get to do this, you might not have the forces to be in those 4 table corners. And you've got to score 12 or more, which is not going to be particularly easy. But if you do, and you score those 30 points, I'm guessing that's probably going to be enough to win. Now, one of the things that Games Workshop wanted to get away from in 10th was gotcha moments. Now, I don't know about you, but I can imagine there's going to be people, at least initially, who are going to be charmed, winning away on points, and their opponent pulls this out and goes blam. I get 12 or more on the dice. I score 30 victory points. I'm now winning, or I now win. I've got a feeling that is, to some people, that's not going to go down very well. They're not going to be happy with that. That's a gotcha. And it's not like your opponent's done something right. How can I turn this around and achieve victory? Or how can I turn this around and adapt the game and adapt my play so that it doesn't cost me the game or I don't lose so badly? This is an out-and-out, potentially, I've just scored 30 points and I've won. That's going to leave a bad taste in some people's mouths, I think. Now, that's just one card. We don't know what the others are. I think it says there's 3 or 4, something like that. I can't see it now, but it's going to be here somewhere. But I'm not so sure on that. I'm not so keen on that. Then we've got, I'm just going to go back a little bit to the missions and secondaries. Okay, so there is an issue I see here. I might be wrong, and it's entirely possible that I am, I can't see this being popular at tournaments. One of the reasons why the old ITC format took the 8th edition rules and tweaked them, I think they even tweaked the 7th, if I'm not mistaken, was because they wanted a more equal, balanced game mission sort of layout progression. And I don't think this is going to go down well with that, or with tournament players particularly, because there is a significant amount of randomness involved here, which is great for your casual game. It's not so great for a competitive environment. I will be very surprised if this format is A, the only one in there, and B, gets adopted as is by the tournament crowd. I think, again, we haven't seen the full rules. We don't know what else is in there. This may be just one format, but I just really think that the tournament circuit is going to either severely change this and basically say, right, this is your mission, this is your overarching thing, these are your secondaries if you are the attacker or defender. I can't see them allowing such a random thing, especially when you've got 200 people playing in a giant GT type thing, and they all end up with completely random cards, random missions, and so on. On one hand, as I say, I think this will do really well for casual play. And I will certainly play it, don't get me wrong, just because I prefer the old sort of styly missions. Doesn't mean that I'm just going to ignore it. Not so sure it's going to be good for tournament play, but we shall see. In pardon me, less than 12 hours, Games Workshop are going to be announcing the 10th edition stuff at Warhammer Fest. I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing what they put out, because obviously they're saying that they will be running demos of 10th. So I can certainly see either they give us the free rules tomorrow, or somebody's going to put them up online anyway. I'll be interested to see what the thoughts coming in are from people who have played the demos. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree, disagree? I will certainly be interested to know. Pop your comments down below and we'll see what sort of discussion we can have. In the meantime, please give me a thumbs up. Yay! And hit the subscribe button, as it will help the channel. Until next time, everybody, take care. Good gaming.